Hello, beautiful people. My name is Savannah by Internet. I go by Savvy C, and welcome back to Savvy C Scoop. Today's video is inspired by you, all of you who watch and comment and send me just the most heartfelt, loving, warm DMs that just make my day week after week. I love hearing from you guys and hearing about your journeys here and that you just moved here, you're almost here, you got accepted to AUP, etc. and how my videos have helped in just the slightest way possible. Just like really makes my day. And so I thought with all the questions I get and with this time of year of it being a new semester, new year, I thought it'd be a good time to just share some resources and things that I've learned along the way that really have helped make my life in Paris living as a foreigner a bit easier. So I don't have 10 things exactly. I'm looking down at my handy dandy laptop for my notes. I don't have 10 things exactly because that was a bit hard to have more like 10 categories. So keep that in mind. So like 10 categories with like a few resources under each category. But before I get into it, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe. We're so close to 1,000 guys. So click the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. And comment down below too any resources that you've come across you have. We definitely share the wealth on this one and put each other on. Okay, so let's get into it. First category is all about health, which I feel like goes without saying with the times we are living in. And just under this category, just wanting to share a life-changing thing. It's just one thing, but it's a life-changing thing that I am now so thankful that I've been introduced to and it's hard to imagine life without it, and that is Doctolib. It's a website and an app that offers just a one-stop shop for all things healthcare related, from booking a vaccine, booster, PCR rapid test, to find a dentist, find a therapist, to find just a specialist of any medical background. You just type in keywords, type in either your city, or you can be as specific as put in your zip code. A bunch of results will pop up, scroll through, find the doctor, where they're at, their specialties, the languages they speak, where they study, what schools they went to, their specialties, etc. I think I already said that. And it's just a great one-stop tool. It tells you everything, like what payments they accept, their processes, if they're accepting new clients or not, if you're going to be like, you can do it in office, you can do it online if you want. Like, it's just a really great resource that I highly recommend you checking out and using on your own. Guys, Editing Savvy C here, working on the video that you are watching now that it's uploaded. And I totally forgot, I don't know how I forgot to mention this. I was too focused on Doctolib to share with you guys, honestly, the most important app that you should have upon your arrival to France is TousAntiCovid. That is the government's health system sponsored app that is the source and one-stop shop for all things, fighting against the pandemic right now. It has your pass sanitaire, which is now called a pass vaccinal, has QR codes, has the statistics for how many cases we have per day in the country, as well as in the Ile-de-France region or wherever region you're living in the country. And yeah, it's a great, really important key resource, and you should definitely download it and have that while you're here so that you won't be stranded and confused and wondering why you can't get in anywhere in a public place. Or you can get things to go and kind of go outside, but that's about it if you're not vaccinated, unfortunately, after Macron's recent comments about that, which I don't want to get into the debate, your choice, your body, but do be mindful of what the government feels about that. So yep, and that's it. Back to the video. Then second category, language barrier. So then this goes without saying as well, but if you're coming here from an Anglophone country, I'm American, you might be coming from the States or other Anglophone country or background, or perhaps not, maybe you learned English on your own, or you grew up listening to English, watching movies, etc. But your French just isn't that strong, you don't feel that confident in it. Have no fear. Google Translate and DeepL Translate are here. They're there. English, English can be hard. English is still hard, okay? I'm American, but English is still hard. And with those great translating apps and websites, makes things a bit easier, especially when you're in the grocery store and you're looking for ingredients, or you're walking up to a store for the first time and you see a sign outside the door that you don't recognize right away. I believe too with the new update I was told that you can take a picture of something for iPhones, take a picture of something and it'll translate it for you. I can't verify that 100%, but I have been told that. So there's other resources like that, but definitely have some form of translation on you just in case, you know, you come across a word or a phrase. Or like too, I've had moments where I remember the first time I went to Orange. I use Free now, but I was looking at Orange and the guy like spoke into it and then like played it back for me. I did vice versa because sometimes that's better than just like typing it out because I might not translate. So it's always just a good resource to have on you. Number 3, next category is all about just getting around and navigating the public transportation network systems here. So for this, I recommend 2 things in particular, as well as walking, but for public transportation specifically, RATP. I don't forget. I have no clue what it stands for, but it's an acronym, I'm sure, for something. RATP is the overarching system for Paris and Ile-de-France, maybe for the whole country. Let me just keep to what I know. Paris and Ile-de-France. So that includes, you know, metro, buses, and the RER, which is like the train system, and trams. And with that app, you can just look at all the schedules, the directions, any closures, so which was a lot, anything that's under construction, and, you know, anything like that. You can plan out your destination, find which lines or, you know, tram, buses, whatever is the best way, fastest way to get to where you're going. And on the other side of that, so maybe if you're not like taking public transportation like that 24/7, you can just walk around the city, which I think is honestly the best way. If you have the time, I would say either use the buses or walk around the city to really embrace Paris and see it and find like little hidden gems. Because when you take the metro, you're underground, except for like line 6. It's the only one that's really like above ground significantly. You can like see around you. But you're underground, so you kind of like miss parts of Paris. But when you're above ground like that, you can hit the side streets and find like little hidden gems around the city. So definitely recommend downloading those apps. Next, number 4, the 4th category is social life, which again now it's a bit difficult with the pandemic, but it's okay, figure it out. Clubs are still closed right now as I'm filming this in early January, but there's still hope. All hope is not lost, and great apps and resources that I use and will continue to use hopefully when things open up a bit more and cases are significantly lower and this will turn more into a endemic, are Dice. So Dice is a great app, kind of like Eventbrite, think like that on those terms of just literally you can put on notifications and save things, look at events, and they're all just like social events from like parties to like concerts to just like social events, period. I'll just put it in that overarching bubble, and it's just a great resource and a great way to go out to things, go to events, meet new people, and maybe you can put on social media too and have someone like kind of shoot your friend shot that way and be like, hey, I'm going to this, does anyone want to come with, blah blah blah. You'd be really surprised and you meet some cool people along the way. And then also I learned this while I was in Malta when I used this for the first time. Get Your Guide. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but it's a great app as well of just finding experiences, excursions, etc. Kind of like you can play tourist in your own city. I think it's a great way to learn a city before you properly live there. And also too, I put, Skyrock. Skyrock is like a radio app here in Paris, and again it might be all in France, but a great way to like learn about social events happening, concerts coming up. They like interview a lot of artists on their shows and things like that, so a cool way to like learn and get around. And then of course, last but not least, TikTok. I feel like TikTok, just save, like, follow Paris hashtag, things to do in Paris. I'll put in a few accounts here that are really helpful, but you can find restaurants, free events, great galleries, things like that through TikTok. It is a hidden gem full of a lot of great information. Next category, the 5th one, is all about safety and news alerts. Now again, probably this should have been up there before, you know, the partying and socially, but you know, being here, especially, you know, for me being a young woman, single, live alone, young 20-something, it is very important and key for me to keep my surroundings in mind and know what's going on to the best of my ability without, living in fear, but just being aware and fully acknowledging my surroundings of, living in a huge metropolitan city like Paris. And to do so, and just to keep up with that to the best of my ability, I use International SOS, my school, the American University of Paris. I guess put me on to it if you will, and they told me about it and shared it with just the AVP community, but I'd happily and will and now am sharing it with you. And it's just a great app and website as well that can give you alerts around the world of what's going on, especially in Paris, having your first manifest, which is short for manifestation, which is protest, very common in Paris to experience, and things can close as a result of it. Or if there's any strikes going on, like there's the transport strike fairly recently in Charles de Gaulle with airport workers or metro workers on strike. So you just keep things like that in mind, and they'll just send you alerts, and it's nice to go. So when you God forbid you're like heading to the airport and something happens, or you're trying to go to one area and it's closed, you'll figure out why and be able to adjust your schedule accordingly. So keep that in mind. And also too, what's great about them, on the other side of things, you can call them and they're just always someone there 24/7, 365 to just like give you answers and resources. I believe it's free to that extent. And then when you like go through with it, so like after you take the advice, for example, that's when you pay. But I believe, at least for me in my case, I believe it's always been free until that case. So it's like free through the notification and the advice. Once you take up on the advice, that's when the money comes to play. So keep that in mind. Sixth category is all about traveling, which is one of the favorite and best parts of living in Paris and being in Western Europe. We're kind of really blessed geographically to be so close to so many countries in Europe, and kind of being like not exactly middle of the world, but 6 hours one way to the States, 6-7 hours another way is like Middle East area, like whatever, like, so that it's just really, hopefully I said that right? I think like 6-7 hours to Dubai, which is kind of ish Middle East. Anyways, you're blessed to be able to travel to a lot of different locations and places, and so traveling is a huge part of living here, and it's so accessible and easy to do so. And under that, I recommend 2 specific resources. The first being Ryanair. Hello, a lifesaver, especially for my fellow students. Check their TikTok out, it's hilarious. Well done to the Ryanair TikTok team. Claps for them. Think of it, for my fellow Americans, like Spirit, but not as terrible. Just like a European Spirit, but like you're gonna land. You're not gonna have to go into the cockpit, you'll be fine. Even though I've always landed my flight, thank God. But it's a really great, cheap, like shockingly cheap, like less than like 20 euros, less than 10 euros for a flight. Great resource to use. And on the other hand of that airline to use, other hand is another great resource called TravelDoc, TravelDoc, and that is a great way, going back to the first category regarding health and just the health situation in the pandemic right now. It'll explain to you and break down in really just layman's terms, really easy, everything you need from documentation to if you're allowed based off your status, if there's any quarantine requirements, etc. when you're going to a new country. So you put, like for me, like I'm in Paris going to Budapest, and you put that in the server, put it in the website, and it will just pop up everything you need, and it'll have like, this is documentation you need to fill out, this is the passenger locator form you need to fill out, click to go on it now, blah blah blah, and you can do that. Straightforward, super easy. It's been a lifesaver, and again, especially now with everything changing so rapidly, it's really important to keep that in mind. Next category, number 7, is all about quick access to things and just like ordering and delivering. So for this, I just say Amazon France. I try my best now that I've been here and haven't used Amazon that much to shop locally or just like buy things in person versus like waiting on it delivery. But there have been a few moments where I'm like, oh, it would be nice to just have the convenience of Amazon. And too, for a lot of people that move here, and I've got this question a lot, they do have Amazon here, which is Amazon France, so you can't use your Amazon US account. You just have to switch it over to France. To start your new account, especially as a student, you get your first 3 months free. Let me not lie. I'll double check and put in the edit how far it lets you go. But the first 3, it will let you. So be for free, and through there you can just test it out, see if you like it. I've kind of heard a few horror stories of like shipping and stuff, or like delivery not being so great, but the convenience is definitely there, and you can just sit into a locker as well versus to your own home address to make sure it'll be there when you go pick it up. That's another great resource. 7th category is all for my fellow students and those who live here who are under 25. Sorry for watching this and you're over 25. So sorry, forgive me. Sorry. I mean, don't blame me. Don't be mad at me. Bad friends, I guess. I don't know. And this is all so just like great hacks and resources and things I'm really thankful for. I guess, since we're so broke, they're looking out for our bank accounts in some way. You get to go to, I would say 95%, maybe even higher, but I won't say 100% because there's some you have to pay for. But 95% of museums, you get to get in for free by either showing your student ID or just showing some form of ID to see that your birthday is less than 25 years ago. You also can get benefits like a Ciné pass if you're like a fellow, cinephile like me, you love going to the movies. You can get a rewards card for a student at a student rate, significantly cheaper than a full like adult one, quote unquote. And also too, you can get a Navigo pass, which goes and references back to the transportation. And so with the Navigo pass, it's like a one card, it's blue. It gives you access to everything, like I mentioned earlier, from buses, RERs, trams, metros, of course. And you just scan it versus having to pay €1.90 for a one-way ticket each time you go. So just great things to keep in mind and great resources. Moving on next to number 9. It's all about food delivery services. Now, your girl does not cook. So, we're working on it, but it's giving very much pasta. So I'm really big on food delivery services, and 2 of my favorites since moving here have been Deliveroo and Uber Eats. I love those 2. They're really simple to use, direct, and the same concept of just buying a restaurant. And the only thing I would say is kind of like annoying to an extent. I've noticed this far more with Deliveroo than Uber Eats, is that let's say you live on like the western side of the city, like in the 17th or 16th, and a restaurant you're really craving is in the 11th or 12th, which is more like the eastern side of the city. They won't deliver it to you because of like the distance. So the restaurants can choose how far of a radius their deliveries go to, which is, I feel like in the States, I don't know, I feel like it's not as common, but surely it does happen, but just keep that in mind. But yeah, great resources. And then the third one, building off of that, if you're here working or an au pair, working a job, internship, au pair, etc., you have access to the glorious Ticket Resto, which I miss mine dearly. That is a great resource and a great perk of working here, is that you get a certain number, depending on your job, allotted to you, so a number of euros allotted to you just for food. So you can use that Ticket Resto to order food, which I did for 6 glorious months, or even buy groceries from a Monoprix, from Prix, Carrefour, wherever. And that's another great resource and something that I'm so glad I had access to. And you can also have an app as well that you can check while you're going out of like what restaurants or what places do and don't accept your Ticket Resto. And then last but certainly not least, the 10th category is all about everyone's favorite topic, finding an apartment. Now hopefully by the time you're watching this, or you're on your way to moving here and looking into making Paris your next home, you already have an apartment in mind, or at least a list. But sometimes you don't. Life happens, things happen, and that is more than okay. I would recommend, before I share the resources, in that case, to find an Airbnb for about 2 to 3 months, just to give yourself some cushion of like moving here, settling in, visa paperwork, everything settled, and then just searching to find what areas you like in, touring places like crazy, messaging people like crazy, and then you'll find the right place. We'd all go through it in some form or fashion. I don't know why I find an apartment in the city, or cities period, because even like I'll see TikToks of people in New York and stuff, so I don't know, there's something about cities and apartments. It's quite the journey, but you will get through it. The right one will come to you. But some of my favorite places to look, 2 I've used personally, like I used SeLoger to find this place, but the third one I haven't used personally, but I've heard good things, so I thought to share. Of those 3 resources, the first is Pathé-Gaumont, so that's just another housing data-based resource where it's just a ton of places from all across the city or suburbs or whatever you're looking. Then SeLoger, where I found my place now, great resource. I really liked how you can message people directly, save it, and I think compared to other sites, when a listing is unavailable, it'll tell you and delete off your save list. I feel like I've had some websites and resources where like it doesn't do that. Like it'll kind of play you and there's no need. Like they'll just, I don't know, have it there and there's no need. So keep that in mind. I think it's a great resource. And last is Jinka, which I think is kind of comparable to like a Zillow or a Trulia if you're American, you're familiar with those sites. And yeah, that is it for my 10 categories and resources. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to comment down below any extra resources you have and to share the wealth and put everyone on. I think this would be really beneficial, and hopefully it was beneficial to you. And I've been here over a year, but I'm always looking for more resources to make life in Paris as a foreigner just a bit easier. Again, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more. As always, I am sending my love so wherever you are in the world where you're watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.